Fantastic news, everyone! Over the Top just got its first big content patch since the release. And more good news. I found a fire grenade, so now we can start the fire. Oh! Oh. Ooh, okay. That fireplace is clearly defective. Somebody needs to clean that thing out. It's a death trap. But anyway, let's go take a look at how the town looks now that we got the new patch. And it's... Oh. It's a hellhole. Yeah, so fun fact, the new content does not like my old content. Also, breaking news, the devs are evil and they hate me. Which, you know, relatable, but they replaced all my barbed wire with sandbags. So we won't need as much penicillin in the medkits anymore, but also I'm a little upset about it. All of the dozens of hours I've put into building those roof forts and those great walls is now utter garbage, as opposed to the garbage it was before. I know it was a little slummy, but it was my slum. I want it back. But I don't think I'm getting it back, so instead, let's load up the new patch. We're going to load it up right now. We're going to see what's new. You guys excited? I'm excited. And hopefully it won't be nighttime so we can actually see things. Otherwise I'm going to have to change the whip. But yeah, there's new structures, so that's exciting. They also changed up, you know, the way that the classes work and the weapons and all that, but we're going to be focusing on engineering stuff, of course. This is an extreme engineering guide after all, so let's have a look at what we got here. Aha! That looks more like actual structures. Yes, yes, yes. Very good, very good. All right. Yeah, no, it didn't just spawn like this. I did it again. I rebuilt like half the town. It took forever. But I actually needed all that time to figure out how things work now. So you might notice that we have some things like this that are monstrosities. Also very tall. And that is because of some quirks with the new things that we got to build with. So we have the concrete trench wall, the concrete trench parapet, which are just concrete versions of these two, but they do have some very peculiar qualities to them. And we got the trench machine gun emplacement, which I will henceforth be calling the large sandbags, medium sandbags, small sandbags. And this is a concrete and wood ramp, concrete and wood trench wall. So I have some examples for you set up over here of this. I should probably say this. There's way too much to talk about in the update, and I already had stuff I still need to talk about before the update. There's just a whole lot to go over, and we're not going to have enough time in one video. So this is going to be part 2 of probably like a 5-part series now. And this one is going to be focused on walls. Crazy walls, specifically. I mean, we do have some more normal walls. I mean, your normal wall would be like, hey, I'm going to put down some medium sandbags. By the way, the medium sandbags now build in 2 parts. So first it builds basically 2 small sandbags together, and then it builds the rest of it. Also, all these stats in here, they're kind of representative of what's going on, but they're not actually accurate. So like the bottom right there, you have the artillery, the damage it takes from artillery. It does actually take less than is stated there, but relative to the other pieces, so you can see that the concrete takes like half of what the wood does, and it does take a lot less. The concrete does take a lot less damage from artillery, and all explosives, actually. Above the artillery is dynamite, I think, and above that is just regular grenades. Then on the left, we got the hit points, the build points that it takes to make it, and in the bottom left, the amount of hits with the hammer that it takes to complete it. And yeah, none of it is really exactly right, other than maybe the hit points and the build power. I'm not sure about that. But details to go over later. For now, just know that the concrete stuff is more resilient to explosives than the sandbags or the wooden stuff, which makes sense. What does not make quite as much sense is that these are equally susceptible to melee. All of these take about 17 hits with a shovel or like 11 hits with the pickaxe to destroy. These are just more resilient against explosives. That said, so a normal wall to try and keep people out might be like large sandbags, except as you can see, you can actually just jump right over those. So maybe you dig a trench in front of them to make it harder to jump over. Then they would have to use like a plank to get over the top of it. And you can put barbed wire in the trench so that they don't want to get close enough to plank over it. But as we discovered at the end of part 1, the medium sandbags have a peculiar quality that this top board on the window is actually a buildable platform. So you can actually put other things on top of the medium sandbags to get even higher up, which is pretty cool. Very exciting. I've also tested it extensively. I understand mostly how it works now. At least before the patch, how it worked was the side with this metal plate is the one that you can build on it from. If you tried to build on it from the back side, it wouldn't work. It was only the side with the metal plate. You had to be on this side. Now it seems like it's a little more random than it was before, but it does still work. Now with these sandbags, if you build a sandbag on a sandbag, that's generally as high as you can go. And before the patch, that was the limit. But, you notice I said before the patch. Because the thing about these new concrete trench pieces, is that they are also buildable platforms. So if we tear this medium sandbag down, you can, by the way, put this sort of stuff on top of the medium sandbags, which is pretty cool. That's a way to make super durable walls against explosives. He is such a big concrete plate, and I love it. So yeah, that's cool. What's even cooler is you can also build stuff off of the top of the concrete pieces here. Whatever you want, you can put it up here. Well, except for barbed wire, I think. Yeah, I don't think you can do any barbed wire unless you do some weird stuff to trick it out. Yeah, there's some building tricks that I really need to tell you guys about that have to do with freaking out the camera, and it lets you build in places that you shouldn't be able to build. Really, really useful. But for now, we're going to focus on what happens if we alternate the medium sandbags and one of these concrete trench pieces. Well, what happens is, like I said, it's not medium sandbag is not exactly reliable anymore, even if we try and build it from this side. So let's just switch on well, okay. Let me show you that this sometimes works and sometimes doesn't first, and then I'll show you a more sustainable and consistent way to get it to work. But yeah, as you can see here, we're able to build on this one. Since it's the metal plate is on this side, it's going to build it kind of biased to the metal plate side. But yeah, we can alternate these and build up basically as high as we want. I was trying to figure out, like, why does it let you build on the medium sandbag sometimes and not others, and I haven't quite gotten an answer on that yet. But there's another alternative, because we also have the new trench machine gun emplacement, which can also be built on these things. It also builds in two parts, by the way. So first it builds the base, and then it builds the top with a window. Fun fact, as you might have noticed, we never finished that first medium sandbag. Oh, yeah, another quirk with medium sandbags now is it doesn't really work hitting anywhere in here. Like, there's always one spot near the middle where you can hit it with the hammer, but it's actually the ends are the part you need to aim for now in order to actually build it, because you'll whiff when you're swinging at it until you get it up to this point, where it's actually sandbags instead of just a blueprint. But yeah, as you may have noticed, we can fully build the medium sandbags here, and then build stuff on top of there. Come on, come on. Where's the metal plate? Doesn't have one, but it likes this side this time. We could also just build it up to here and then place stuff where that window would be if we finished it. But we don't have to finish it. Just like we don't have to finish concrete walls unless we want them to be actually able to take a T blast, then you need to hit it one more time. Yeah, so same thing with the new the large sandbags, okay? We're calling it the large sandbags because it's easier that way. We can just build it halfway, and then we can build stuff where the window would be, which saves you building time if you're just using it to increase your height. So, yeah, there's a lot of possibilities here. A lot of things you could do. And some of those things I have done over here. So, obviously, you know, in a real game, you're going to be pressed for time. You're probably not going to be building impenetrable walls very much. But if you want to build a big fort, or you want to build a grand wall and make the Germans pay for it, you know, then you got a lot of new options. So as you can see here, I have built up some walls in some different ways. So this first one, actually, we got to start at the base, because that is one of the details you will want to know about these concrete trench walls and concrete trench parapets, is that if you try and dig anywhere near them, or at least pretty close to them, too close to an object, can't do it. They act like buildings and set pieces. They don't let you dig, or in fact, undig near them. Well, okay. Maybe undigging works a little better, but still can't do it most places. So yeah, that's a really handy thing, because you actually don't need to get them that far down, because as you see, this one's at ground level. If we go over here, well, easier said than done, huh? So like this one, I didn't dig at all. I didn't build a mound up at all. This is just at ground level. I built it on top of, let me get this out of the way. Built it on top of half of a medium sandbag, just like we did over there. And it prevents you from digging close to it. and you would not be able to dig under it, even though we built it at ground level, because it prevents you from digging beneath it, which is pretty freaking useful. So as you see, we can't get far enough down to go under. So that means you don't need to waste your time putting one actually underground, even though that's how they're actually intended to be used. We can just do a medium sandbag like this, and build that on top of it, and then build another medium sandbag. Oh, actually, God, I'm so scatterbrained. I was showing you the other one. Yeah, this is why I don't like using medium sandbags. So a more consistent way is to use this new large sandbag, which seems to not be working right when I was talking about how it was always going to work. Ooh. Okay, this system's a little finicky. As I said, I have not figured out why it works sometimes and not others. But yeah, as you can see, you can also build stuff off of this. And until now, I thought it worked every time. It certainly has been working every time until now. And you can just keep going with that as high as you would like. And it'll look something like that. Definitely can't jump over it. If you use your fancy engineering tricks, you can get over this one, but as you can see, if you built one level higher, that would not work either. And that is exactly what we built over here on this side. So this is alternating the concrete trench with the large sandbags. We did 3 levels of concrete, and then we topped it off with a medium sandbag, because those make for pretty good tops of the wall, since, as you can see, totally flat on the outside, and they have a lot of extra height to them. So you cannot jump over them, even if you use our little trick with the binoculars and the plank. Now, one thing you do need to watch out for if you make a wall that way is that your medium sandbags at the top are actually interfacing seamlessly, so that you don't get this, because you can jump on this and then get over the top. So if you're gonna use medium sandbags at the top, just make sure they line up. We need to put a plank here because this is driving me nuts. Oh my god! Also, the planks do not have collision for like a second after they drop in. So when you make a wall like this, it can be a little painful to get up it because you know, it's like stairs, big stairs, really big stairs, and so you would have to do like multiple jumps. So I just throw some planks on there, easy peasy. Ooh, another fun thing about the planks, they're now spammable. Yeah, you used to have to wait like 2-3 seconds between planks, as I recall, and now that delay is totally gone. You can just spam them to your heart's content, which has made my life so much easier. So one alternative for the wall is, let's see, what did we do with this one? Oh, this one, yeah, so I built these on raised earth, which of course you can do. It's one of the well-known tricks for making a wall higher. Just raise the earth with a shovel. which is your alternate fire for the shovel. And then you can build stuff on top of that. So I did that, and then I built the concrete trench wall on top of it. Which, another cool fact, if you build it with earth in front of it, they can't dig that earth away, really. I mean, they can, technically, if they dig as close as they can to it for a really long time. It'll eventually, like, slowly bring the dirt level down on the wall. But, as you can see over here, there's actually a... Well, as you can't see over here, actually, there is actually a concrete trench wall behind this dirt here. But it's totally hidden by dirt, and we can't really dig it out. As I said, if you... So let's see, how close can we get? Yeah, this close. And we still can't see it. So if you, like, dug here for a really long time, it's slowly taking the dirt down at the edge there. But that's just a cool fact, because you can leave dirt in front of the concrete trench wall or parapet, and they might not even know it's there because they can't see it through the dirt. And when they... So they might try to, like, dig under, thinking, oh, I can just go under the wall. Turns out they get most of the way, and they get like halfway through, and sad story, find out they can't keep digging. So that's pretty cool. Also might help protect from, you know, stuff like dynamite, which, just for funsies, barely scratches. You see the health at the bottom of the screen there? Barely scratches these things. It takes like 11 dynamite to get through them. Whereas the medium sandbags and the regular concrete wall take 2 dynamite. So these are far more durable to explosives. Which is why I have used them for my mega walls here. And I just top off with the medium sandbag just to save building another level or two. Though you can, if you want, just keep going up in order to make them unscalable. But as you can see, that medium sandbag can only take 1 more dynamite, and then it's going to blow, and then you would be able to jump over. So using this is a time-saving maneuver, but if you want to be really thorough, you can just keep building up the concrete to an unscalable height. Though, it does get a little difficult to actually climb your wall. As you can see here, you gotta do a bunch of jumps. And sometimes they're easy jumps, and other times they're not. But ideally, you just want to be able to run up your wall, so you can quickly get up there and start shooting. This one I did using exclusively concrete alternating with medium sandbags, which gets you height a little faster. As you can see here, I will show you the height difference. These new large sandbags, they sit low because they're supposed to be in a trench. So you can see the height difference there. If you build with you build your wall with medium sandbags, you're going to get this much more height on the wall every time, versus if you use this large sandbag. But, as I said before, the large sandbags seem a lot more consistent to build off of. And, conveniently, they also act as a ramp. So this whole thing, you can run straight up it. So if we were to top this off. Oh, yeah, by the way, I did this one, like I was saying, just using concrete on the outside, not using anything on top. Can't get over it. And there's nothing visible that you're going to be able to... Well, there's nothing at all that you're going to be able to destroy in that wall without a whole lot of work. Though, keep in mind, it is still as susceptible to melee as the weaker stuff. So just with that, we've half destroyed this thing. So yeah, shovels and pickaxes can take these down fairly quickly. But that said, if you're letting somebody get all the way up to your wall, past barbed wire and whatnot, and then hit it like 12 to 17 times with a melee weapon, you're not really doing your job. Why hasn't that person been shot? So you can top the wall with that, which is what I did on the next one over here, so that I could show you why you don't want to do that. Because you may have noticed it now has these big dirt clods sticking out of the front. Also, this little bit of sandbag, all of which you can stand on. And you can just jump over the top. So I would not top your wall with the large sandbags, because it makes it a lot easier to scale them. Whereas the medium sandbags do not have that issue. They do not come with places to stand on the front. But it may surprise you that you might want to use, in some circumstances, the large sandbags on the back, not even built all the way, but just halfway, because, like I said, it's a really good ramp. So if you just put that on the back side of your wall every couple levels, or 3 levels maybe, then you will have a continuous ramp that you can just run up, no matter how steep it is, how high it is. Oh yeah, when you build, like I was saying, you get more height out of building with the medium sandbags, but if you use those exclusively, you may end up with a wall that's too steep to use planks to get up. And that's when you might want to use these large sandbags as a ramp on the back, which is pretty cool. And even though all this stuff takes about the same build powers, you can see 22 to 25, these things take much more time to build, twice as long, but if you just need to build them halfway for like a ramp or a platform, then they take the same build time as these lesser things, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I wouldn't top it with the large sandbags. Topping it with the medium sandbags will save you time if you don't want to build it up this high. So it's a bit of a time saver. It'll also give you a nice window up there, of course. Why not use the much cheaper trench walls? The old stuff, you might ask. Well, for one thing, they do not have the restriction on digging around them, which means you will actually need to build them low enough that they can't be dug under, which is fine. It's easy to plop one of these down in the ground. Only takes a few whacks. By the way, everything's taking less hits right now because the battle hasn't started. We're still in pre-battle. So it does take less hits to build, but it's going to be much more vulnerable to explosives. And you will have to build basically twice as many of them to secure your base. Because they don't have that digging restriction. Whereas this one, you can just build at ground level and nobody can dig under it. And of course, the other reason is that they cannot be built on, unlike the concrete ones. So your concrete ones will prevent digging underneath them, and you can build stuff on top of them. So doubly useful. Worth the extra build time, I would say. But it does take twice as long, and unfortunately there's no doing that one halfway. Another thing you can do is build a roof on top of your top piece. So all of these medium sandbags, large sandbags, concrete trench pieces that can be built on. You can also build roofs off of them, since you can build anything you want off of them. And so when you get to the top and you plop down your medium sandbag, if indeed you do choose to use that, you can build a nice little roof off of it, or you could, if it was working. This one seems to be broken. Again, I don't know why it works sometimes and not others. I would really, really love to know. Anybody figures that out. Man, I am having the worst luck with this right now. Sometimes it works every time for a whole bunch of times in a row, and now it's just not working at all. Let's try this guy. It also sometimes seems to work on one side of the concrete and not the other consistently, and then at some time it just stops being consistent. It's really weird. It's really glitchy. But yeah, as you can see, usually you'll just be able to build off of these. You can even build off of multiple sides if you want. And you don't have to build it parallel. You can make weird stuff. You can build roofs off of that. You can build sandbags off of that. You can build whatever you want, son. Doesn't really want to let me. Maybe I need to finish the roof. Roofs are one of my favorite things, but unfortunately they do take a long time to build. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, you're not limited to just building one thing off of that spot. You can build multiple things. Let's see if we can find the spot. Yeah, there we go. So there, now we built a metal roof and the sandbags on that spot. And we could keep going if we want. As many as we can get that pixel perfect spot for. So yeah, it's there's a lot of options for these. Now, another thing to note is that the concrete tops here, it seems to only be buildable on the topmost piece. So like, if this was the bottom, or if we only had this bottom trench wall here, we would be able to build off of this. But now that we built something else on top of it, we can only build off the higher one here. Just something to be aware of. Yeah, so I'll just really quickly just show you the whole process. So, as mentioned, you can start by digging up a mound of earth if you want to start a little higher and save yourself some build points. But if time is your only concern, I think it's probably just faster to do this. Start at ground level. And you can either Go with the medium sandbags or the large sandbags. Yeah, this one's not cooperating. Let's do the large sandbags. Both take the same amount of time to get built. Yeah, I don't know if it's this location on the map or something, but he doesn't want to build here. I really wish I understood this. Like earlier, I thought I'd figured it out because every time I put it on the outermost edge here, on one side, it was working, and every time I put it on the innermost edge on the other side, it was working. And that worked for like 15 times in a row, but then it didn't. Oh, also, when you haven't built it up to the first stage yet, you can still walk on these. These are... they have collision. I guess we will go this way instead. And just to say we did, I'll build us a little ramp there. Let's try the medium sandbags again. You can usually get the first hit in the middle, and then it's a little questionable whether you get another one. And I've already gone a little high here, but we'll top it off with our medium sandbags anyway. We'll go ahead and finish that one to completion. Maybe put another one of these. Don't really need to. Don't technically need either, but now we can run all the way up and get in our little hole and do some sniping. Or put a heavy gun in there. So yeah, that's more or less how to build a mega wall that cannot be scaled and is very hard to blow up and cannot be dug under either. Can't dig there. Once we get close enough to the bottom one here, it's going to stop us. And there it is. That's as close as we're going to get. So yeah, takes a lot of time, a lot of build points. Not something you're going to be doing regularly. But if you want to make a super fortified position, and obviously, you know, for funds, you throw some barbed wire in front, 4 or 5 lines, so that they can't, actually, let's do that real quick. And then a couple more closer there. 5 lines of barbed wire is enough that even somebody running and jumping through it will die before they get to the other side. And then up here, we put our jumping plank. And Geronimo! And there you go, you can make it over a whole bunch of barbed wire without getting yourself killed because of the height advantage. So that is how you make a super tall, durable wall that can't be dug under and that acts as a one-way. Your guys can jump out, their guys cannot get in. Unless they put an unholy amount of explosive firepower into it, or they actually break through these with melee. Though, because they can't really reach this one well, they might have to go through two of them, actually. I mean, you can kind of reach it. Let's see. Let's see if we can get under after destroying the bottom one. Still can't dig at the top at ground level, but yeah, you could eventually dig your way under that one. But since we built it off of a medium sandbags, and the medium sandbags extend quite far down, you would also have to break through the medium sandbags, which is going to take just as many hits. So, yeah. It's a very, very hard wall to get through. I think we get the point. Now, you may be saying, Cat/Earl, how high can you make one of these things? Well, I have something to show you. And I'm so glad that you asked. I call this the Stairway to Heaven. Although, from this angle, it kind of looks like an angry fist being shook at God. Or possibly God's fist shaking at me for what I have done. Regardless, I just alternated the medium sand... well, actually, I think I used the large sandbags with the concrete trench parapet. And did that over and over. Just like that, rinse, repeat. And did that far past the point of reason. We're still working on the staircase here, but once you get to the spiral staircase, it's smooth sailing, see? We did not have to stop here. I just felt like stopping here to do some bird watching. Anybody see birds? I think we might actually be too high up for the birds. I don't see any birds. But I also made myself a nice little awning here. A place to refresh and get rid of the sting of barbed wire. You know, reload the gun with a nice view. If anybody's causing trouble in town, you can shine the spotlight on them. Give them business. And just relax. Take in the sights. So yeah, I think that covers most of what there is to say about building great big walls. And also this completely broken building on buildings ad infinitum. Now, I actually did this sort of thing once before using just medium sandbags on medium sandbags. But the only way I was able to build a tower that way in the previous patch was to go into the map settings and or the map settings and set the build height from 25 to 5,000, or you know, just some outrageous number. I don't remember where that is now. Oh, sapper cannon. Yeah, so the max height in decimators from the ground, buildings, or small objects that sappers are allowed to build. The standard, the default, is 25. I was not able to go more than building one medium sandbag on one medium sandbag before, so a height of 2 with the 25 limit, but I jacked that up to 5,000 and then I built a tower to the sky. However, as you just saw, it's on a limit of 25 right now, and it's still letting us build as high as we want. And I believe that is because we are alternating between one of these and one of these. So I think the limit was only being enacted when it was the same piece being built on itself over and over. Doesn't seem to be a limit when you alternate, so you end up with this nonsense. And also you can build stuff off of all these little corner pieces of concrete here. So that's pretty cool. There's a whole lot that you could do with this, and probably a whole lot that I will do. Even though, let's be real, that's not super practical in an actual game. You know, you never know. You might find a use for it. And it's, more importantly, really fun. Oh, yeah, there is one way to scale these otherwise unscalable buildings. See, this one's too high to jump over. If you happen to know that you can kind of jimmy planks into places where they shouldn't be, let me raise the height of that one. That's Alt, by the way. If you spawn them like inside of a structure, they just kind of level out there, and then you can use them. Now I think that only goes for sandbags, so that might be one more reason. Yeah, I don't think you can do that with these. So that might be one more reason not to use the medium sandbags to top off your wall. Maybe it's best to build all the way up like this. But I mean, are you really going to let somebody come and plant the trench binoculars, plant a plank, and then plant another plank, and they're going to have to like find the spot where they can get it to spawn in there, and then jump up there and jump over, and they're not going to get killed during any of that? I think it's unlikely. So I wouldn't worry too much about using the medium sandbags to save yourself some time on raising the height, and probably skip that last level. But if you want to be super safe, go that high with the concrete, and then you can do a medium sandbag on top, because then it'll be too high for them to jump to any planks that they place into it. And that plank trick, by the way, is kind of related to the trick I'm going to show you in another part with building out of buildings in places where you're not supposed to. But we can't get into that now. It's already long enough. For now, bye-bye, and I will catch you in part 3.